Hi, I'm Eddie and I'll be showing you a short presentation prepared for the Philip Yu Initiative application. Hi, I'm in my first year of my Masters in Sociology at NUS. The project I'm proposing is about the history of Singapore's public service. Yes, it's got to do with my Masters and I'll get to that in a bit. So in this presentation, I'll cover a short introduction of myself, how I got into this, and some of the reasons why. So let me start. During my final year in undergraduate studies in NUS, I did my honours thesis, and it was on the establishment of foresight and research units in government. As a result, I got interested in Singapore's public sector history, about how the public service changed throughout the years. That was in 2012. I spent the next 2 years in government, first in MTI and then at CSC. One of the things I realised for myself was that the sense of historical awareness in government can be a little bit limited. It is a natural tendency identified by Daniel Kahneman in Thinking Fast and Slow, and that is what we see is all there is. Of course, this isn't so, but in the urgency of staffing and policy making, it is easy to lapse into tunnel vision and forget. We take for granted the transformations that have occurred to Singapore, how the Singapore River changed from the trading area in the past into the retail and leisure district it is today, how a collection of small islands became Jurong Island and sustained Singapore's position as a major petroleum hub, despite not having a drop of oil on the ground. What if public service history could be made more accessible? What if more of these transformations could be widely known and appreciated? I did a little bit of looking around and realized that the Singapore Government Directory was a rich source of information. It might only have just 3 things: names, positions, and departments, but accumulated over time, it is quite rich in detailing the changes in public sector agencies. How the rise, expansion, or closure of departments shows the public service responding to Singapore's needs as we developed. This effort acknowledges the efforts of others who contributed to Singapore's development. And this became the basis of my master's project. So this project is about Singapore's history, about how our institutions were established, and in turn developed Singapore into what it is today. Why Singaporeans could know about the history of our country. This is not about the sentimental nostalgia of SG50. This is about understanding the work of people and organizations and how things came to be, because their past has determined our present and it will echo into our future. We would be inspired by what we were able to do in the past and have confidence in our own future. We would also be humbled by our past mistakes and be more clear-eyed about suggestions. As an inspiration, I draw from Paul Kennedy's recent book, Engineers of Victory. It's about going into the details of how problem solvers and their role in making the grand military strategies work. It wasn't due to the ideas of a single person alone, but the work of leaders at all levels and people working to make the ideas possible. So this research will provide a glimpse into the organizational capabilities that we developed. Just as in the Second World War, it wasn't due to grand strategies, not due to technological possibilities alone, but many people working together to win the war, and just as we have in Singapore, to develop Singapore into what it is today. So all these things aside, there is also the question of who do we want to write their histories, especially when the leading figures pass on. If we want Singaporeans to be in the driving seat of their history writing, then more materials have to be made available and on a systematic basis. And although this project comes from my masters, I realize that the history belongs to everyone and that my effort alone will be insufficient. There's still so much of our past triumphs and setbacks to learn from. Some of them are going to be lost to time and to memories. So if we want to make a serious effort to remember their history, it has to be done together with other people interested to spend time and effort in making the materials available. To be honest, I initially saw this as a way to fund an aspect of my masters, but with the Philip Yu Initiative, there's a potential to expand scope to create a community of people interested in Singapore's history, about the development that happened after independence. After all, this is about the history of Singapore and it belongs to Singaporeans. So this is my project in brief, and I'll be more than happy to share more if we get to meet. Thank you. Hi, so that was again my presentation, and there's actually a little bit more that I'd like to show, but that's of course if we get a chance to meet. So once again, thanks for your attention, and thanks.